All right. Well, hello, you guys. Welcome to the next exciting installment of the Point Digitizing. The third video that I wanted to create is going to have to do with doing some error checking, just quality control. And before I do, though, you might be experimenting with different options for making the process of digitizing the points a little more efficient. One possibility that I was just experimenting with is where you can just drop a point on each numeric value, maybe do 5, 6, 7, or 10 of them at a time. And then if you open up the attribute table down below here, you can, rather than use the attribute populator over here in this pane, you can open up the table itself. And I'll just show you that option real quick here first. So for example, if I was to put in maybe 5 of these points, so I drop one in middle of 54, middle of 41, the middle of 26, middle of 21, and middle of 16. On the proper sheet that you've been working on, so in this case I'm working on sheet 63, I would right click on the name of the layer and go to attribute, open the attribute table. And what you'll notice is for the last 5 points that I've added, it has all null values for the depth, for the sheet number, and for the survey date. Okay, so I determined the survey date for this one is February 15th, 1883, so that's just the same date going down. This is all of sheet 63. Really the only value that changes a lot is the depths, and so we're starting with depth number 62 was the last one we had, so we have 54, 41, 26, and so it's pretty easy just to type these in right into the table itself. So this next one's a 54, the next one is a 41, the next one down is a 26, and so this might just be a little bit faster than doing each one at a time, but that's totally up to you. 21, I can show you this next part once I get these values in. Now if you're questioning where these are, you can turn back on the points, and that's the 16. You can toggle those on and off just by the check mark here. And the one that's highlighted in blue on the table, it'll also be highlighted in bright blue on the map, so I know that that was a 16. Okay, so for the rest of these, one simple way to do this is just to take the last value, copy it, Control C, then Control V, so that same value just gets pasted down. There's no option like in Excel where you can just drag a value down, unfortunately, so you just have to copy and paste each one. Same will go here. I'll just copy the same date for each of these, going down those 5. So a little, maybe a little faster. There's probably more efficient ways than this. Let me just do these last 4 this way, and then I'll resume the video. Okay, so I just added the last 4 of those points to complete that whole survey line. And the next step here, I just have to copy this one more down. So I've got in here now the sheet number, the date, and the depths for all of those. So again, you could decide, I want, each one of the, oh, by the way, when you get a set of these done, it's a good idea to hit the save on here. And hopefully I didn't just delete a point. It looks like everything is okay. The other thing is if you want to clear the selections, you don't want anything colored in blue, there's this clear button right here, and that will unselect all of the active features. So at this point now, if I zoom out, you can see there's a green dot sitting on top of each one of those elevation values or depth sounding values. And then the next step that I want to do is to check to make sure that all my values are correct. A couple different ways to do this. One is to have the attribute table open again, and you're going to be looking, you could like maybe scan down 4 numbers and just make sure those look the same. So 14, 67, 112, 100, then go on down 76, 62, 54, just making sure that those numbers are a match as you work your way down. So 78, 62, 54, 41. The other way, if you don't want to have the table open, but you just want to do it based on the map, is you can add the values from the attribute table as annotations right on the map itself. So let me just show you that method. If you right click on here and then go to label properties, what you want to label here is, instead of the expression being the feature ID, you want it to be the depth, and then hit apply, which is just off the screen to the bottom there. And then when you right click on it and then you say put on labels, Now if you turn this off, if you turn off the layer, you can see 14, 67, 112. You can kind of toggle it 100, 78. Now if you have a hard time reading that, maybe it's a good idea to turn this one off so you can see it without the point or without the annotation. So you can toggle these on and off individually. 62, 54, 41, and so that's another way, just so long as each time you do a row, just check your results and make any corrections. Let's just say, for example, that I had maybe here, for this particular one, if I just select it, and if I had accidentally put the wrong value in for that one, and I caught that, you would then highlight it, highlight the one you want to fix, double click right here on the value, and then put in the correct value for that. Likewise, you'll just want to make sure and scan down the list. As long as you're on the right sheet, they should all say the same number, no missing values, and then the survey dates. Now again, when you're looking at the map sheet itself, keep in mind there'll be a survey date printed, and then you keep going down. All of these lines will be that same survey date until you get to the next date. Now this date here should be identical to the one on the far left side or the upstream side, and then they'll have a date printed right next to it. So they finished this line on the 15th, the next day they started on the 16th, and so all of the points on the right hand side or the downstream side of this annotation will all be the 16th until you get down here, and then looks like February 10th, and then the 17th. So they jump around quite a bit. Is that what that says? No, I bet that says the 16th. These numbers are very hard to read. My apologies. Sometimes it's good to have some redundancy. Again, if there is a value that you just can't tell, it would be better to leave it off than to add something that you're taking a guess. So the values around it will interpolate, but if you get a wrong value, then that ends up throwing off the numbers. So if in doubt, leave it off. Okay, so that is the gist of the that's the gist of the error checking, the quality control that we're going to do. Once you have checked at least once all your values, then you're going to be ready to upload that point file, and I'll show that in the next video. All right, thanks much, guys.